to the Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to me. It's good to be back. It's me, Mike from the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. How y'all doing out there? What a Sunday we have in store for us all. Most important week of the year so far. Biggest tilt fest of the year so far. I hope everyone's had a fine morning, afternoon, night. I mean, it's probably close to midnight on the East Coast by now. But I'm here. I'm here for the breathing exercises, to talk through the news and the notes, because a lot of stuff is happening right now. So, look, I'm very proud of each and every one of you for joining me. Not one because it supports this little show that I do here, but a lot of things, like a lot of just sneaky tweets coming out, just sliding maybe under the radar. Hopefully we can bring those to light, like some things that Adam Schefter is saying that might, affect how you make start-sit decisions. My favorite producer of this morning, Brooks, Mr. Judge Giamatti, is here.
Heyo.
And I am joined by a very special guest, the biggest loser of them all, Brian. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Did you know you were going to get to talk?
I did not until
but
this
you hoped?
moment. I did hope. I did
You hoped and
hope
dreamed.
a little bit.
There he is, Brian. What's your handle, Brian? At Brian Ketchrin? Whatever. Shut up. All right, back to the fantasy football. Let's get into the news.
The big picture.
All right, the biggest news of this morning. I don't know that anyone saw this coming with the way that the week was trending. Ladies and gentlemen, Lamar Jackson is out officially. So thanks for that, Baltimore. Thank you for wrecking everything I could do throughout the week by making him doubtful. Bunch of clowns. But Lamar Jackson's not going to play as expected. I mean, hopefully you didn't have your head under a rock or you're on vacation all week and you're like, hey, Lamar Jackson's going to play for me. No, he's out. Trevor Lawrence will be playing with his toe injury or whatever, the foot. I can't remember exactly what was going on, but he will play. He's an interesting start this week. At the running back position, Saquon Barkley, as of about 2 hours ago, was called 50-50 by his head coach. He picked up a neck injury during the practice this week, but Saquon Barkley is in. If you have Saquon Barkley, he's in. Don't overthink it. Trust your process. Saquon Barkley has to be in for you. In wilder news, though, for the Ravens, enough being jocular about the franchise over there. J.K. Dobbins is in. Now, what does this do for fantasy football? Well, it just wrecks all the running back possibilities for the Baltimore Ravens. No, I am not hoping that I'm playing J.K. Dobbins this week. The matchup against the Steelers, already pretty rough. They have improved. No Lamar Jackson. The lowest over-under of the week. The implied team total for the Baltimore Ravens right now sitting at a super sweet 17 points, which is, to be fair, not the worst of the week, but that over-under is projected to be the lowest. 36.5 points. Baltimore Ravens not favored with Gus Edwards, Kenyon Drake, and now J.K. Dobbins being worked into it. I have no idea how much work J.K. Dobbins can get in this matchup, but I'm preferring not to pivot to him if at all possible. James Robinson will be out. The New York Jets situation is interesting because Michael Carter will be back, but bam, Zonovan Knight, superhero name over there, superhero performance the past couple of weeks. We did see a tweet from a plugged-in beat writer, which I can't recall the writer's name at this very moment, but they are plugged in, and this is just their projection. But their projection, based off of their insider information, is that Zonovan Knight will receive the first shot at the carries, the bulk of the carries. Then Ty Johnson, Michael Carter will be worked in. So that is a very sketchy situation for a lot of us, hoping that, well, Michael Carter comes back off of the ankle sprain, goes back into the lead dog situation. Mike White checking it down to the running backs constantly. it's a very sketchy situation up there, and especially with that tweet, I will have Zonovan ranked above Michael Carter. Michael Carter, maybe if you're in a PPR, like I'd play Michael Carter above J.K. Dobbins, but it's a desperate play at this moment. I know 6 teams on bye. I feel it out there. It's tough in the streets to find a starting running back right now because up in Seattle, Kenneth Walker not expected to play. DJ Dallas not expected to play. Travis Homer, of course, next man up, right? Right? Well, a tweet from Adam Schefter that we got about from Adam Schefter. It wasn't a Shefty tweet. He was just talking on his show. That came through about, 7 seconds ago, like right before we went live, that he is he's expecting that Tony Jones, Brooks Jones Jr., Earl the third, Tony James will be the starting running back for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, starter is just a designation. That does not mean that he is going to be the full-time guy. Travis Homer probably still the pass-catching running back. Interesting that they're going to go with James, who is
There's Tony Jones.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
I blame Jason.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you, Brooks. I blame Jason, who has just infected my brain.
This current NFL player on the Seahawks, his name is Tony Jones Jr.
Look, Tony. We're just going to call him. We're going to call him Big Tony. Big Tone up there. He's an NFL player currently. Travis Homer. If I have to play between the two of them, PPR league especially, I'm going to Travis Homer. That one's easy for me. If you're in a half or a standard, I'll make the whelp face at you and say, I don't really know. I don't want to do it. It's pretty brutal to be here on Sunday Live with all of these situations. They are so murky, and there's not a ton of information to help us cut through that fog and maybe make it an educated guess on who's going to be scoring the most points for these backfields. It's very tough right now. Leonard Fournette, the dump truck, is expected to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's just raining on our Rachaad White parade, but they will split the time. The matchup is dog doo-doo for them against the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, I was clowning on the Ravens' implied team total. The Bucks lower, sub 17 points, as they are 3.5-point dogs on a 37-point over/under. That doesn't look like a very good situation. The 49ers defense is very stout. Damian Harris of the Patriots is doubtful for Monday night. Ramondre Stevenson looking very safe. Zay Jones is going to play. The spot starter popped up on the injury report. Like I said, for Trevor Lawrence, who's in an interesting situation, Zay Jones, he can be spot started again. I do like Christian Kirk a lot in this matchup. Amari Cooper for Cleveland, he will play. This is also another kind of sketchy play. If I have Amari Cooper in this situation, I mean, I'm not going to pivot to a waiver wire player over Amari Cooper, but I'm going to try and adjust my expectations because I believe he didn't practice on Friday, if I have that correct, but he popped up with a hip. Brooks, if you can have that information in front of you. But he popped up late week and missed a practice with an injury.
That is correct. Didn't practice Friday.
Okay, he did not practice Friday, but he's going to play. He's going to power through the hip injury. Voldemort looked like absolute dog trash. I don't know what dog trash is. I was gonna go with dog. I don't even know anymore. He looked bad. He looked real bad. So maybe he looks better, but that's the theme of today. Everyone is sketchy. Everything is terrible and everyone is sketchy. Deontay Johnson will play. He had some injury stuff throughout the week. Mike Williams is going to play. My overall process with Mike Williams is that he's in my lineup. More than likely, he is in my lineup. Sketchy? Yes, because everyone is. But I would be playing him with the way that his practice reports trended. Kadarius Toney out. Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins for the Houston Texans are out. Good luck, Davis Mills, in your triumphant return. Cortland Sutton is out. That's more of a sweet merciful out that we don't have to play him anymore. Rondale Moore will be out for the Cardinals. The Dortch looking like a very interesting flex option should you be dealing with a whole bunch of sketch out there. Jacoby Myers will be out on Monday night. DK Metcalf is expected to play this afternoon. I would expect him to play as well. And Hayden Hurst is out. Brooks, has the computer gathered all the information to find out who's hot, who's not? But what about, is the computer just going to say, it's sketchy? It's not looking good.
It's sketchy, but good luck.
All right.
He's so hot right now.
So the way that this segment works, if you've never joined us before, thefantasyfootballers.com, that's where our rankings are living and breathing currently. We have a start-sit tool where you can plug in player X, player Y. We run it through the computers. We give you our personal rankings of those two players and then a bunch of other variables that can help you make the best decision that you can make in such an important week. If you are a kind supporter of this podcast, jointhefoot.com. That unlocks to a 4-player start-sit as well as some really other cool stuff. You can stick with us through the offseason because the fun doesn't stop here at the Fantasy Footballers headquarters, and you get an extra podcast every week. All right, Brooks. I'm not looking forward to this. But who's hot right now?
All right, Mike. The number one search on the site, I think you kind of answered. You're going to play Mike Williams over Joshua Palmer, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
I would personally, yes.
I think myself and the fellow Joshua Palmer managers will never forget the Week 11 benching of Palmer for someone else, and then he went off. So these next couple of questions
I understand.
are about Palmer. Are you going to play Joshua Palmer or Hollywood Brown?
Okay, with Mike Williams back in my confidence, at least with the information that we have from the team, I would be going with Hollywood Brown. I hate the matchup, of course, against the Patriots, but highlighted throughout the week of the Fantasy Footballers podcast, right back to near 100% of the snaps, a bunch of targets. Him and Hopkins are going to be absolute target machines. As much as the Dortch feels like a sneaky flex play because he will be manning the slot with Rondale Moore out, it's going to be Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins. Trey McBride, the rookie tight end, has not assimilated into this offense at all, and we've seen nothing. It's going to be those two guys as the primary pass catchers. I would say, 7+ targets for Hollywood Brown seems like the floor, and then if somehow Mac Jones can get his crew together in forming some kind of a shootout, which that doesn't, when you say shootout, you don't think of Mac Jones and the Patriots, but against this Arizona defense in prime time, that is something that could actually happen. So I'm going with Hollywood Brown over the third option for the Los Angeles Chargers.
All right, a bit tougher though. Would you play him over Mike Williams? That's also
Hollywood Brown?
Yeah, it's also a popular search.
Told you I was not looking forward to this. I have Marquise Brown a few spots ahead, currently sitting at my wide receiver 22.5 PPR, and Mike Williams is a few spots lower than that. He'll probably get bumped up, with what's going on. The matchup against Miami, already juicy. The Chargers are missing some pieces, including Derwin James, their safety, so the Miami Dolphins should be able to put up points. The Chargers are going to have to keep pace. I think that Hollywood Brown feels like the safer – he's got upside each and every week, and he feels like the safer floor. His complete ceiling, though, to me is not what Mike Williams is. So if you need to inject volatility into your lineup, which some of us need to do, look at what happened on Thursday night with Devontae Adams, the subpar output, the Foster Morrow. As we learned that we've been saying that guy's name wrong. Apparently it's not Moreau, it's Morrow, which, hey, we strive here to try and get people's names right, and then we end up screwing it up, but we'll try and get that one right. But he put up the goose egg. I'm getting his name right as he put up the goose egg for us. Whatever. But there are certain situations where you're like, okay, I need to give a bump. If I really needed a bump, I'd risk it. I'd go very, very risky business, and I'd put Mike Williams in over Hollywood Brown. But most situations, I'm playing Hollywood. Oh, and then you can do that. Come on. Mike Williams don't have that.
All right, Mike. Back to the Jets backfield.
Oh, good. Yes.
Bam Knight. Are you playing him over the Seattle situation? Either of those guys?
So Zonovan Knight will be taking on the Buffalo Bills on the road. The Buffalo Bills they've been trending to implosion. Divisional game against the Jets and the Buffalo Bills. That is a little bit strange. We do know that there could be little bit snow in this game. We're not expecting anything weather-wise to have any huge implications on what's going on for fantasy football. Zonovan Knight has been so good and Robert Saleh strikes me as a performance-rewarding coach. Like, I think that's why we're hearing the information we're hearing from New York, that we're going to see Zonovan Knight get the first crack at it. He's not saying, well, Michael Carter, you've earned it by doing nothing this year. You were the starter at the beginning. No. We're going to go with this guy. We're going to go with the young player who's got the juice, who's showing us something. I don't think Tony J. he's a sub-average player, and Travis Homer's going to be a specialist in that offense. I'm going Bam Knight. I'm doing it. Zonovan Knight is where I would go over the Seattle backfield after working through that situation. Who's next?
All right, one more backfield to bring in the mix, Mike. Are you playing Bam Knight or James Cook? He's pretty popular search on there too, James Cook.
Sure. The James Cook start, I think we all like him. We don't have enough evidence to be fully confident in it, but you can take some historical data of rookie running backs kind of taking over at this point in the season as a team is starting to make their push for the playoffs, get the foundation of what's our team identity, that type of a thing. So that gives me confidence to play James Cook. The Jets are quite good. Like, the Jets defense is very, very legit. The Bills can be, but the Jets are very hot right now, playing well, playing with a lot of confidence. Oh, man, that timeshare of the Jets versus knowing that it's Devin Singletary and James Cook, not a three-person timeshare where you have Ty Johnson's in the mix for the New York Jets. I'd play James Cook. I'd play James Cook there, but that's not a huge confidence play between the two of them. So if you're out there, and your process is on Zonovan Knight, I don't blame you at all. I would trust that process.
All right,
but
Mike.
I'd play Cook.
Last one, tight end question: Greg D versus the Chiefs or Gerald Everett versus Dolphins?
Oh man. So okay, these guys are back to back in my rankings as this stuff usually shakes out. I have Gerald Everett ahead. The matchup against the got the matchup against the Miami Dolphins for the Chargers, which is sensational for fantasy tight ends. Greg D against the Kansas City Chiefs. Offenses have to keep up. Can the Denver Broncos possibly keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs? All signs point to no. I was going to say probably not, but all signs point to no for the hapless Denver Broncos. And Russell, the 12th man. That's what he is. He's not Russell Wilson anymore. He's the 12th man. I would play Gerald Everett. I'd prefer to be in a situation where I believe in both offenses and not just hoping that Russell Wilson can get something done. Brian Ketron, would you play Gerald Everett or Greg Dulcich?
Greg D.
Oh, there it is. Okay, you're done. No more Brian. Oh, and then the camera went black.
May have switched to the main cam, which is not being used.
All right, well, there you have it. The loser will go Greg D. Look, the what they're saying about Greg Dulcich, talking about him as a wide receiver, that's fantastic to hear. He's on the field a ton. He's on the field more than Gerald Everett, but with my fantasy playoffs on the line, I would, even though Herbert has been, I think Herbert's getting a little bit too much of a free pass for his play over the course of this year, blaming too much on the weapons. I would still go with Justin Herbert and his tight end in a primo matchup against the 12th man and his matchup. So, Gerald Everett, Not by a lot, but by a little bit. Is that it?
To the people.
Oh, man, let's go to the people.
Stardom, sit 'em.
See, Jake says, is Homer the true number one today? We kind of covered that, Jake, but no, there is absolutely no guarantees that he is going to be the number one. It's very brutal. Trevor says, Tony Bones Jones. I think that so. Tony J, or the Gus bus. Oh my gosh. If I had to pick between the two of them, I've seen more out of Gus. I believe that he is the more talented player. His backfield is more is crowded with Kenyon Drake and J.K. Dobbins now back. The matchup is doo-doo, but I will actually go with the talent of the player there in that situation, because we don't we're just getting we're just hearing whispers right before the matchup that Tony J will be the starter. And this could be that situation where you know how sometimes they're doing the videos and they're like, here's the starting roster, and here's Tony J saying he's a starter, and it's not him. Like, that crap happens. So I'm gonna go with Gus Edwards. I'll go with beep beep, the Gus bus. Nicholas says Kareem Hunt or Travis. Man, everything is Travis Homer right now. Kareem Hunt or Travis Homer. Okay, that is a fair question, because let's say both of them are the secondary options. In a PPR, I think both of these guys are flexible. The more likely of the two to score a touchdown, even though it's been 84 years for Kareem Hunt, would be Kareem Hunt. I'd play Kareem Hunt over Travis Homer. Scrolling up, let's see. John wants to know Okonkwo or the Muth. That one's pretty easily the Muth. Like, we're all very excited for Okonkwo to see what he could, for Chig Okonkwo from the Tennessee Titans, to see what he can do. That's why he was Andy's start of the week, because the player is trending exactly where we want to see a young player start to trend. But the Muth is fully established. Like, I had to report that Deontay Johnson's playing because we didn't know. We weren't 100% sure. He is not 100%. Maybe George Pickens is the squeakiest of the wheels, or he was, and maybe that turns into a bunch of targets. But the Muth was and is a primary option here for Kenny Pickett. 70-plus yards or whatever it was this past week. Kenny Pickett just missed on about a 40-yard seam touchdown to the Muth. He is where I would go. I think that they're going to have to rely on him a lot against this Baltimore Ravens team. Next question is Michael or McCall. Apologize if I got that right. There's no E, so McCall? I don't know. Or Mitchell? I don't know, my friend. Let's see. And they're asking a full PPR and a flex. Travis Etienne or Jamal Williams, the touchdown machine. I selfishly have to hope that Jamal Williams does not score a touchdown out there. I apologize if that hurt your feelings. Oh, no. You've got him in Dino.
Yeah, I'm going to play him.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying you don't play Jamal Williams. The odds of, who's got the better odds? He has to have the easiest odds of scoring a touchdown this week in all sports books. It seems like it has to be that way. But full PPR, I would go with Travis Etienne. I'll take the full game of work. Terrible matchup for him, but Jamal Williams was relegated to, 30-something% of the snaps. He went back to what he was last year. And if you recall last year, Jamal Williams would have some spike games, but when DeAndre Swift was actually active and fully healthy, it was really rolling the dice. It wasn't just, I put Jamal Williams in my lineup and I get a touchdown every single week. Let's see. So I'd play Travis Etienne. Jamal Williams isn't going to catch a bunch of passes. Etienne could. Next question comes in. M. Sylvester says standard scoring, Deontay Foreman or Rashad White. I would go with Deontay Foreman in that one. The injury stuff seems to be okay for Deontay Foreman, and the matchup is just much, much better for him. He is the clear starter for Carolina, and he's been running well. In games that they're close, he's been running well, and I think there's a chance I know this. I'm saying something positive about Carolina, but I think there's a chance they keep it close and keep Deontay Foreman involved. Let's see. We're up against the clock here. I got to get back into the laboratory for those rankings. Louis says Travis Homer or Slayton PPR. I'm going to go with Slayton. Edgar says Dameon Pierce or Pirine in a PPR. You got to go to the full-time player. Everything coming back from Cincinnati. Look, Joe Mixon is in. Joe Mixon's going to be the number one. Maybe the timeshare scale balances out a little bit more. And Samaje Perine is good for a couple catches per week. But, oh, man. Yeah, I'm still sticking with Dameon Pierce. I understand your hesitation with the way that he's been playing over the past couple weeks. Barry says Cousins or Goff. Goff is the home quarterback. He is the favorite quarterback. I do believe that Jared Goff has the most touchdowns at home in the NFL of quarterbacks. I'm going with it. And Jamison Williams, the rookie, he could see more snaps. Like, Detroit is very interesting to me today. We got Raging Suave says Amari Cooper, Travis Homer. Despite my hesitations for Amari Cooper, that's the way I would go. Let's see. Swift or Williams from William. I would play DeAndre Swift. But I have DeAndre Swift on my team, and I need him to do good. But that would be my process as well. And then we're going to get out of here on this one. If I can find a question I haven't answered yet. Clayton says Jared Goff or Kyler Murray. I'd stick with Kyler Murray on that one. Kyler Murray has quietly been very, very good for fantasy football. Like, I think it gets bogged down, number one, because we like to hate on our Arizona Cardinals and their ineptitude as a team. But that has not stopped Kyler Murray from being great for fantasy football purposes. That is going to do it for today's episode of Sunday Live. Thank you so much for joining me. TheFantasyFootballers.com. That is where the rankings are. I'm going back to make sure that they are tight, right where I want them to be. I wish you nothing but the best and your enemies nothing but the worst. And remember to keep it beautiful. Mwah! See you tomorrow, everybody. Goodbye. Good luck.